Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, once again we return to the planet, world, orb of Kryta. And it'll be Kryta stream tonight. And it's showtime. Hi guys, back again, like it or not. We are. We're in Fields of Ruin. Where we have got a few things left to finish off the map, which we will do. And we spent some of our not so hard-earned arcane affinity points for a couple of keys to ensure that we will have at least 2 boxes to open, which will be some mild form of entertainment. Probably will be a slightly shorter stream this evening, as we have our raid in about 3 hours and 20 minutes. These guys are in the jumping puzzle. So I don't want to, you know, burn myself out. It's just that I'm such a delicate soul. This POI has been lit up since I was all the way at the top northern end. I didn't realize I was going to be going quite that far for it. But I guess we've got stuff around here. So we had not finished our lap around the map. I do tend to do a lap around the map and then fill in the middle when I'm doing a map completion. And good evening to those of you who have joined me. I assume no one is actually fighting the big, ugly, nasty creature. I am not correct. There is at least one person. Okay, I'm going in. I'm going to help if I can. I'm going to get knocked back immediately, but other than that, I'm going to get knocked back immediately again. I easily could have soloed that. Totally not lying about that. I had it the whole way by myself. If I would have chosen to do so, which I wouldn't have because I would have died. Truth is, I would not have done that. But one other person had it pretty well damaged. Yeah, I'm going to give that a shot. No guarantees. A branded strongbox, which holds a mallet. It's a better mallet than one we've got, so. Shield not used by this profession, by the way. If you're curious, M Ranger. Oh, no, no! I wanted to kill those guys. Medieval Knievel. Misspelled medieval. I'm willing to forgive that. Okay, as long as none of the deer go walkies. We'll res this fellow. I'm sure he's a good sort. No idea what we'll be doing for raid tonight. I don't know if anyone has any idea what we'll be doing for raid tonight, but we'll be doing something, damn it. You have my completely inauthentic word on it. I believe you were shooting at me, sir. That was rude of you. Heart complete. And we've completed Renown Hearts 3. The bonus is gone. Oh dear me, I will no longer be getting extra XP. Turtle Daredevil. Good evening. And again, we have excess sticks of butter. Slightly worrisome. Another level. We're now level 49. They're all power ferocity. Oh, how about we'll go with that. And this will replace our crappity greatsword, which is pretty crappity. Not going to lie. Yep. Deconstruct. Sure, we'll add that to our Swindler's coat. Why not? We'll add this to that. Now I have 2 more inventory spaces. We like inventory spaces around here. All right, to the northeast, we have the pavilion and at least one waypoint, but this is first. We have not done these guys. This is Char Renegades. Might and glory. I'm mighty glorious, I guess. Oh, look. Mortar and Engineer. I don't actually feel furious. I don't know, do the Sylvari get actually angry? I mean, other than the Nightmare Court, who are obviously angry about pretty much everything. We don't want to dance with the wolf. We're here for Char. One or two more ought to do. Oh, that one's got himself a net turret. An A-net turret. He has a net turret. Kind of a joke. Without the humor. We are 85% done. We have 2 keys and 2 boxes ready to open, which we'll do when we finish up this map, because we might have a 3rd key. You just can never tell. This is one of my 3 remaining non-capped characters, non-level 80s. A 473, better than a 240. That is not as good as what we're currently wearing. You have no vendor here. What good are you? You guys have no vendor. Well, we got undiscovered space there, and I think that's where the pavilion is. Then we get to kill some wasps. There's the pavilion. %, 9-0 are the 2 champions up. It does appear that the Wasp Queen is up. They're going in. So I'm going in. Got them. Cannot wear. Can use. It is frustrating at times. Which one? That one can go. Any of the shared item slots. So that would be trinkets, rings, underwater weapons. They all share a failure of design in that they just are not intelligently designed to replace the lowest level one with any new item. It's always the same. It's always like the left item on the paper doll. And if you have, like I did, you had a spear and a harpoon already equipped in the water spot, I double-clicked on the new harpoon, and it replaced the spear, because that was in the appropriate slot.
Hey, do you have a moment?
Lone Star Wolf, good evening. Presuming, as I must, that you work a relatively normal Monday through Friday thing. You have one day to your weekend. You're almost there. You can do it. I have faith. And we clanged. So, is it the wasps that are angry or the nest? I mean, certainly the wasps are angry because they're wasps, but the nest might be angry too. Art complete. 93% done with the map. Put those away. We've got another vista over here. Oops. Let's sell the crap we're carrying around, because we don't need to carry around our crap. Oh, that's why he's over there. Stupid separatists.
Ready for the next one.
And of course, they've got to tether back. On the other hand, he does have a nice chair, so I can understand him wanting to do that. I'm going to give him a pass because of the chair. We'll go ahead and sell our butter. Nod Knox, good evening. Or morning. I hope your existence has resumed a more normal state. Because while a lot of people hate normal, and good evening to you, Dark Machinist. We better behave. The DM is here. That's all I got. We have raid tonight, so I'm just doing a little low energy. Oh, wait. Everything I do is low energy. Low commitment? Leveling? It's not my fault, the low energy thing. It's gravity and time. Need an IRL chronomancer, please. Did I do how to do this art? Fat Buddy, good evening to you, my friend. Grab the Vista. We are 96% done. We already have 2 keys. And 2 boxes. So we will have some amount of box opening. At least 2, as you might have guessed by the fact that I have 2. I was all filled up on my AA, and so chose to expend some points on a couple of nifty little keys. Still waiting to go to bed. Wife is still at the dairy fighting the good fight versus the brown cheese called Mesa in Swedish. Is it delicious? I'm assuming it's delicious. Condensed milk sugar. Ah. What kind of stupid humans take on a guy with a mortar? I tell you, separatists. Am I right? Pick up Ranger. Hey, Hodge. I do recommend Mace Mace. Mace Mace is a lot of fun. Axe Axe has always been a lot of fun on Ranger. Mace Mace is a lot of fun too. And when this one grows up, he's going to be a wind guy. I can't even remember the name. I'm so terrible. The brain is turning into Cheese Whiz, the new Ranger spec. There. Only thing you hate about Ranger Axe Axe, the 5-skill cancel? Yes, that is. The Warriors have the big edge on the 5-5 or on the 5 axe skill, especially, you know, I am an axe lover in both. But yeah, he definitely feels the pain from not being able to move. You do have to commit. Gale shot, thank you. I was right, wind. I said wind. No, it was wind. It is an ill wind that blows no one good. And I will make no sexual allusions to that for a change. Yep. The last 2 in Beast Mastery, because we got Taunt, Zephyr Speed, When you strike an enemy with a beast ability, cast Lesser Sikkim. Sure, why not? We don't have the points to get to that. That's why not. Curse you. All right, we'll wait for 2 more points. Well, it's about a 30% chance. I don't know the actual number, but 30% or maybe 1/3 has always been what felt appropriately descriptive to get a key. I have 2 keys. I spent AA for those. How about we give me another one, just as a nice bonus? Thank you. 3 keys, guys. 3 keys. I'll have to buy another box. What a terrible burden. Two things I can't wear. Well, I guess we could just go straight to the Mistlock Sanctuary. Streamer luck. My normal spiel is to complain about how long it's been. I felt like that might be tacky. Although the last time I complained about how long it'd been since I got a uncommon or rare drop, that worked. We'll sell the junk which is in our trunk. Metaphorically, of course. And we'll buy an additional box. Back over a silver. Last time I bought one, it had been like at 1 silver 20, and then was down like 0.8, 80 copper, and now it's back up again. They go up and down and up and down and up and down. Take that. Move to someplace a little more private. I would like to get something good. I will now give my normal spiel. We are guaranteed to get in each box a Black Lion statuette and a fine Black Lion die canister blue, which I will hold on to and eventually sell once it rotates out. Having purchased all of the Black Lion die canister dies to optimize the 5 dies that I got with the purchase of the pack that included dies, back item, weapon, and outfit. So I spent like 200 or 250 gold buying out all of the cheap dies I could, and then I opened my 5 dies and got about 450 gold worth of dies out. 4 out of the 5 were the Abyssal dies. I really liked the Abyssal dies. I was very, very happy with the way that turned out. Now, the new exclusives are back item, which is cool, and the pants, which you can't really see, but I'm sure they're very slimming on me. We will get guaranteed in each box 2 common items. The good ones in here for me are the unlocks, because they're always fun. You may get a bad skin, but it's still fun. The dies, as I was just mentioning, I'm pretty sure I have all of. Other good ones in here are the crafting mats, because I'm looking at making some more legendaries. I have 1,500 transmutation charges. I don't need those, please. Thank you. The uncommons. I have about half of the Ice Reaver skins, and I should probably buy the other half, because right now they should be inexpensive, because they are in the box, therefore lowering the average price. If you buy an entire set, or you acquire an entire set, you get 7 Black Lion tickets. So, because I think, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 of the 16. So if I buy 9, it'll cost me, I'm going to guess, 150 or 200 gold. Could be less. And I'll get 7 of those Black Lion claim tickets. That's some thinking. And the Ice Reaver set is pretty nice. Probably why I have a number of them. I probably grabbed a couple when they were appropriate, and then I've randomly opened a couple more. It's a nice set. Very solid set. The rares, I'm less enthused by this set. I tend to prefer the more exotic, inventive, but I can certainly see a use case for these. The only one I have is this particular one, the Focus, I believe, which I got because I liked it and really liked the idea of punching someone in the face with an affidavit. Then the super rares, which I will never get, and here we go. I will click open. We'll get a common here, and hopefully a 5th box to appear. That will be an uncommon or better. About 10%. Historically, I think I have a higher than 10% rate. My estimates were, because I used to buy 25 keys every time there was a new box, did that for a few years, and I had very good results. I would say my average would be 2.5 from 25 keys. My average, I would say, was 2.7 or 2.8. So historically, I've had pretty good luck. Let's hope it continues right here. Not so much on that one. That's Upgrade Extractor and the Black Lion Commemorative Coin. It's 8 gold. The gold is particularly non-thrilling, gotta say. Let's try again, perhaps this time. Nope. Transmutation charges. Okay. The Tyrian exchange voucher. Useful. Okay. How about the third one? And unlock at least, please. So the answer to tonight's question, what will Lens get? The answer, disappointment. Don't worry. That's the regular answer I get every day when I wake up. And I ask, what will today give me? The answer is disappointment. I will consume those. Okay, well, I would agree, not the worst. Most assuredly not exciting. All right, into the bank with the Upgrade Extractor, the Die Canisters, Black Lion Statuettes, Revive Orb, Tyrian Exchange Voucher, and we'll sell the 1 gold item. I'm not going to cry on stream. I promised myself I wasn't going to cry. I'm fine. Where are we off to next? Let's see. Character Adventure Guide. Finished. Finished. Not finished. More events. Okay, Fields of Ruin we have finished with, so we don't want to go there. We loathe and despise Dredgehaunt Cliffs. Blaze Ridge? Blaze Ridge is okay. I guess we can do Blaze Ridge. How does Blaze Ridge sound? Yeah, returning to the map will be fine. Will probably be a slightly shorter stream this evening, as we have raid in 3 hours, a little less. But I did start early, so it's less pressing that I give myself a break. But sitting in front of the computer for too long is not conducive to the old man's immediate well-being. I need to get up and move around a bit and probably go to the little gentleman's room, despite the fact that I'm not little or gentle or a gentleman. I don't think I've ever noticed this place before, but I can assure you I've never gotten there because invisible walls. Look like an interesting little place. I just wanted to take a look, but no, can't have that. What raid are we doing? And you don't stream the raids? It depends. I've streamed them once or twice. I'm not sure because I'm learning the fights. I pay pretty strict attention to what's going on. I can't sort of mail it in like I can with map completion. Because I don't want to be that guy, you know, the guy who dies and wipes the raid or does something dumb and wipes the raid. So I'm not sure it's very good streaming content. As far as what we're going to raid, I don't think we have made up our mind for what's up for this evening. So I don't know. But I raid with a number of streamers who are way cooler than me. Got your Malcolmist TV, your Engelbert Meow, Almavera, Madagon. Just cool people. Hellmasker's been there at least once. Got Iron Maiden a time or two as well. So, yeah. And they let me into the club. A gentleman and a scholar. You could accuse me, I think, of being a scholar. The gentleman, I don't suppose that's not the sort of thing a gentleman would say about himself now, is it? One of the cool kids. I had him targeted. I'm not close enough. I'm going to wave the fish at him.
What are you doing? Bishop, you have to scare him. You're doing it wrong. Almost.
Now, I did a lot of raiding back in WoW in vanilla, and had sort of given up on raiding because it's a lot of work. At least it is if you take it seriously, and historically I tend to take my own play very, very seriously. If I'm playing with other people, I have a tendency to turn into an asshole. I have a tendency to turn into more of an asshole. Because I'm very demanding of myself. I'm willing to, when I'm by myself, I'm much more relaxed. I may be a jerk, but I'm not a toxic jerk. Whereas when I'm playing with others, I get so demanding of myself that I can turn into a jerk. And I don't. The reason I stopped raiding in WoW is because I was taking it too seriously. And I hated being mad at my friends. Fortunately, the group I'm playing with now are not taking it incredibly seriously. Everyone wants to get it done, but no one's being, about it. Remember getting the Helm of Wrath in your first Onyxia kill back in the day? So I was part of a small raiding guild. When we got to AQ20, we only had, most nights had like 17 or 18 of us. But when we were raiding in vanilla, our tank would sometimes fill in for one of the bigger guilds because he was really bleeping good at it. And in 2 raids of Molten Core, he got both halves of Thunder Fury. And so shortly thereafter, we got him through all of the rest of the goodies he needed to actually put together Thunder Fury. And after that, you couldn't peel aggro off him with a bazooka. It was an amazing tool. Oh, I probably shouldn't be trying to lure in this branded char. I'm just guessing he's probably not going to be affected by the fish that I waved at him. Yeah, so, I mean, he was already an extremely capable tank. And we gave him freaking Thunder Fury, and yeah, tanking was never a problem ever again. Most of the players I was playing with were EverQuest veterans who specialized in raiding, 20-man content with 7 or 8 people. So they were really incredibly capable players. They were so good, I have no idea of how good I was. I'm pretty sure they were carrying me, but I have no idea how much. They just didn't want to be part of a big raiding guild, so we weren't. I've always looked at raiding as similar raiding or basically any kind of multiplayer play in games. These days, instead of building your own macros, people have one button. Not anymore in WoW. They just got rid of most of the abusive kind of stuff from mods for the latest expansion. But definitely that was the case. I've always looked at multiplayer content in games, especially raids, as being very, very similar to intramural sports. If you ever played intramural sports, there are usually 2 leagues that you could register for. There was the Rec League and the Comp League, the Recreational League and the Competitive League, and I played in both, often with the same group of guys. Now, the thing about it is, it works out terrifically as long as everyone's on the same page. If you're in a recreational league, everyone should be relaxed and having fun, trying to win, but the objective is to have fun. In a competitive league, you should be trying to have fun, but the objective is to win. And sadly, my group of friends in college always had a couple people who took the rec league too serious, and a couple other people who would take the comp league not serious enough. And it always led to fights. And I felt that's the same way that you have to be about raids and any multiplayer content in an online game. Everybody's got to be on the same page. If everyone's on the same page, then nobody is going to turn into an absolute jerk. And so the raids here that I've been doing with the cool kids, everyone seems to be on exactly the same page. It's fun first and success second. We all want to succeed. But if we have fun and fail, that's almost as good as having fun and succeeding. This has been my TED Talk. As a guy doing leveling, man, I missed that 50% extra XP bonus. I mean, I've got my celebration bonus rolling. But, you know what's better than 1 bonus? Like 8. But specifically in this case, 2. I can see my house from here. Not really. I am obligated by state, local, and federal law to say that bad joke every single stream. I'm not sure why. That's the slowest arriving emote I've ever seen. For some reason, Restream took forever to get that emote through. It's like, oh, Machinist is saying something. It's 3 pixels deep. Okay, 5. It's Total Biscuit's head. Okay. We miss you, TB. Now, it's funny, you see, for whatever reason, the haha appeared sooner in Restream than it did in my Streamlabs feed. These people are messing with my melon. Oh my god, I forgot to wear my Scritch shirt. Now I feel guilty. I'm sorry. I feel furious! Next time you use smoke signals. Dark Machinist calls for aid. And Rohan will answer. The answer will be no, but we'll answer. It would be impolite not to. You run from Scrit. All right, I got a little bit too close to that one, granted. Got home early tonight, so you're off to spend a few moments with her before Z's. Thank you for hanging out, Nog Knox. Tell her Lens says hello. I hope so. Who knows? Maybe we'll do the much desired Drizzlewood South meta.
My pain's easing.
What can I say? I'm a Drizzlewood South enjoyer. I do feel a little bad beating up the Scrit. I mean, come on. Heart and level. It's always nice when you get the twofer. I think, occasionally. We'll go with a hat. Now, as is tradition around these parts, invisible walls, they vex me so. Just looking for a place where I can stand for a moment without getting ganked by a mob. As is tradition around here, historically, if I'm full on gold again, I am. We will put on our new hat. But every time we get a new item of attire, the rule is, and I don't make up the rules, I make up the rules. Wardrobe. Get equipped fashion. Look at that hat. It's so plain. And evidently at some point I got a plain chest piece as well, didn't? Well, anyway, we're just going to re-dye it. Pottery. Lavender, royal blue, and Vabian bronze. We got a couple of really cool colors. Vabian Bronze and Royal Blue. Sadly, most of the rest of my gear only has 1 or 2 die channels. That's not thrilling. That's not a great combo. But the rules are the rules. The rules are the only thing that separate us from the animals and the barbarians. And, you know, viruses and bacteria. They don't really pay much attention to rules. Infants. Boy. Try explaining curfew to like a 3-month-old. Let's drop a couple of traps. She never set the fire one off, I could tell. And all right, we now have enough to we finished that. Okay, what did I not finish? Beast Mastery. Meast Mastery. Signet training? Sure. We are at 51. We're a long way from popping open the third mastery line. But we will go down to the bottom, I think. Yeah, we'll go with that. Maybe I should log on and do some dailies. Most of my dailies effort has been going to my Marvel Heroes addiction lately. What can I say? When a game comes back from the dead that I played a whole bunch of, yeah, I'm going to play a whole bunch again. I was the same way with City of Heroes when it came back from the dead. Star Wars Galaxies when it came back from the dead. It's just such a sort of a reaffirmation of the reason we play games, is when a game is dead and gone but comes back and we remember how much fun the goddamn thing is. It's just like such a relief. I had over 1,000 hours in that game when they killed it. I have, it's been back for 3 weeks and I have more than 100 hours back in it again. Used to play the original Unreal, but they shut that one down. Shut down the servers. Yeah. Well, that's one of the things, is that even if the cranky boys at Disney unleash the flesh-eating lawyers, the server code was reverse engineered, and that's legal in the US, which means they can't get the code removed, which means we'll always have access to it. They can complain about any given server and make them, you know, move it out of the US, but the reverse engineered code is out in the wild. It's on GitHub. Stop killing games. It's less about killing games. It's about annihilating them, about removing them. They should have the right to kill it, in that they shouldn't have to support it or worry about it anymore. But the erasing of games, that's the real problem. It was interesting. Massively OP did an interview with I believe she's the CEO of NCSoft North America, and they felt they had to ask her about WildStar. And you know, there's this constant buzz, and I'm part of the buzz. I would love to have WildStar back. About WildStar, and you know, is there any chance? And she said, well, you know, she didn't want to say no, but you know, there were certainly no plans or nothing in the works. Release the netcode exactly. So one of the reasons I was so thrilled that City of Heroes, the homecoming team for City of Heroes, that cluster of servers, that they eventually managed to get NCSoft buy-in and become a officially licensed fan-run nonprofit server it shows that, even in a company like NCSoft, which is not generally held in enormously high repute amongst at least Western gamers, I don't know about the Eastern gamers, that there are people in there that are willing to go out on a limb, spend time and effort and theoretically money to reach an agreement with people that gives them no actual monetary benefit. And so I keep hoping that maybe, just maybe, they'll make an allowance for those of us who would like to have WildStar back. Because certainly it had its issues at launch. By the time it shut down, the game was in a much, much better place. And I had a lot of fun with that game. Please, NCSoft, I'll never say a bad thing about you again. I promise. And the truth is, actually, for like the last year or so, anytime I mention NCSoft, I feel it is important to also mention the fact that they did license City of Heroes to the fan-made servers. So it's not like it's a hopeless situation, like they are an utterly heartless, unfeeling machine that will only do what's best for them monetarily. If there's somebody willing to go out on a limb in the company and, take the time and effort to escalate thing upstream to the point where they can get it approved, I mean, there are people there that give a damn about the games. NC hard to get. All right, I gotta take notes. Who's got to pay for bad jokes in my stream that aren't by me? All right. Let's see. All right. Dark Machinist. NC hard to get. There will be a reckoning in time. In time, there will be a reckoning. Oh, as someone who tells countless awful jokes on stream, I know that I have no standing to argue with anyone about bad jokes or good jokes. I mean, I've heard good jokes are a thing. They aren't a thing in my stream, if I can help it. There we go, heart complete. Remember playing Lineage 2? That I don't think I ever played Lineage 1. I know I didn't play in Lineage 2, but that seemed to be kind of what happened with Lineage 2 is the people who played Lineage 1 weren't interested in playing Lineage 2. I know it's never made the money that Lineage 1 does. Because I always, because of Guild Wars 2, I always check the earnings numbers for NCSoft to see, what's making the money, what isn't. And sadly, what's making them the most money right now is, I will be generous, mobile gaming. I think I deserve extra credit for not saying slop. But then the Asian markets are very different. They are very, very mobile focused for actual reasons. Pay to win is standard there. There was a guy who did a presentation at at the Game Developers Conference in 2012, I think it was, named Jared Psygoda, Psygoda, who was a Westerner working in Chinese mobile gaming. And it's really interesting because he talks about the difference in the gaming cultures, the things that, when they tried to bring games into the West, that, he told them these are the kinds of changes you're going to have to make. One of the things they do is, for instance, the Chinese gaming culture, which also is very mobile focused, is different from the Korean, where the Korean is pay to win. It is quite narrowly focused in China as pay to get to the top of the leaderboard. And because of the importance, at least in 2012, I think, actually 2012, I'm pretty sure, in Chinese mobile gaming, any new popular game, they would roll out servers 2 or 3 times a week, because that added additional new leaderboards for the players to chase. And that was very, very much what the Chinese markets, at least then, were focused on. Historically, Korean markets tend to be very grind focused, which is one of the reasons why, the Western audiences a lot of time find a lot of the Korean games less interesting, because they are by design very grindy. And it's everyone's favorite heart, this one. Every map has a couple of hearts that are painful. Well, not everyone. There are no painful hearts in ore. On any of the ore maps, there are absolutely no painful hearts. Superb design to have no painful hearts at all on those maps. 1 second. I'm hearing there are no hearts at all on those maps. There's probably a correlation there. I swear, in this map, the Char are all lens-seeking missiles. That guy is definitely going to see me. Now, I know there's supposed to be some way of, talking to this guy and then going around the outside and then talking to another NPC at the far end. But I've never made it work. So I have to do it the old-fashioned way. The excruciating way. But it's fine. Pain don't hurt. It's not too terrible. You just have got to remain stoic about your failures and realize it's just going to take you 8 or 10 goes. But it's not at all unlikely that this is the least popular heart in the game. It's understandable. It's one of those that's frustrating. It's not one where you can just I'm gonna kill 2 or 3 dozen mobs and that will be that. There are ones that take a lot longer. I mean, this one feels like it takes forever for sure. But as someone who regularly does map completions, not full map completions, but I do map completions is how I level. And it's a lot of leveling with 42 characters at the cap on this account. Also, some of them are entirely dependent on if there's anybody else in the map. There are maps where there's sometimes shared things that need to be done. I can't get to that guy. Like maybe you've got to kill a particular type of mob, but the number of spawns for that mob, and they're not on a fast respawn. Well, if there's anyone else playing, that heart is now going to take 3 times longer than it normally takes. A good example for that would be the Queensdale map with the crabs near Codicus Manor. There's a heart there where you're supposed to trap the crabs, but it's much faster to just kill the scales and wait for respawns. Trapping the crabs is very slow. If there's one other person there, it's going to take a long time. If there are 2 people there, go do the rest of the map. Come back to it. Enough. See, I mean, that was not a fast heart, but there are much slower hearts. But every time, like, there's a Reddit post, what's the most annoying heart in the game? That one wins. I don't think it's the most annoying, but I can understand the people who feel that way. Hero point back here, I think? Yeah. Veteran Giant Devourer back here? Yeah. Have at you! Another level? How delightful. Completed events 3. Level is 52. I think I was 48 when I started this evening. Eight more points. We got those done. We got signets done. We'll start with spirits. Historically, I have never done much with spirits, I have to admit. I have not been a spirit enjoyer on my Rangers. All right. I like the fire. Marmox. What's the plural of Marmox? Marmoxen? Marmoos? I think it should be Marmoos. 1 Marmox. 2 Marmoos. We really have enough? No, we don't have enough. Marmoxuses? Yeah, I'm good with Marmoxuses too. It's always nice to exchange opinions with a person well versed in the fine art of absurdity. Marmoxuses is good. Marmoos. I have played since the first publicly available beta, where you had to buy the game to get into the beta. 13 years? And I was from the head start on. And as of today, across all of my characters on this account, I have played for 4,936 hours, 48 minutes over the past 4,975 days. Long time. I've got like another 500 hours on the second account. But I don't play it much since the addition of the Wizard's Vault, which is fine. Not going to complain. I got 500 hours for like $7.50, so Oh, well, that's not completely true because I also did buy EOD from Machinist. I've said it before. I will say it again. Despite the fact that I have quibbles with the game, if I had to play one MMO for the rest of my life, it would be Guild Wars 2. Or hopefully Guild Wars 3. You know, should such a product ever find its way to market. I would also probably be interested in Guild Wars 4, 5, and 6. By which time I will exist as a brain in a bucket with wires running out. It isn't real. It can't hurt you. Really? I'm not sure I believe at least half of that statement. I'm such a delicate flower, though. I'm so easily bruised. He's not buying it. No. That's worth a shot. I think that is the sort of a question as to whether it'll be worth it. That is hard to know. For instance, Guild Wars 2 was very different from Guild Wars, the first one. So, the first decision if you're making a Guild Wars 3 is, what do we want to make? I mean, we can make a sequel directly to Guild Wars 2, and that will be successful if the game is good. But is that what we want to do? And I think that is a very real conversation they've had, whether they're making a game or not, is what's next. Should they just update the engine? Well, we know they've been hiring for Unreal 5. Unless I'm completely confused, they have been hiring for Unreal 5. FPS, God, I think the people in charge there are much, much too smart to fall into the chasing the successful games from 3 years ago, which led to things like Concord and to a lesser degree Marathon. We've seen it before. It happened with WoW clones, and you'll note Guild Wars 2 was by no means a WoW clone. And I think that's one of the reasons it succeeded over time. We saw it with MOBAs. We saw it with extraction shooters. We've seen it with just every flavor of the Battle Royales. If you're chasing the new hotness from years ago, you are doomed. You might get lucky, like, say, Arc Raiders did, right? It's not a new genre of game. It's pretty solidly in the extraction shooter game, but they made enough changes and spins on the game to make something different that people will really enjoy. And look at the numbers that they hit on Steam all the time. Okay, none of those worked. There we go. So, so far not having great luck in picking out what the Raptors want. Nope. I've yet to get it the first time. Now, personally, if I have a vote, and of course, The only vote I have was my wallet, and that probably doesn't count. The odds are I'm buying, if there's a Guild Wars anything, I'm buying it. There are rumors, have been for a while, of a card game. No, I have zero idea about any of these, if any of these are true. I'm a blabbermouth. They'd probably be pretty dumb to tell me something and then go, Lens, shh. Personally, I hope assuming, of course, it's a thing, I'm hoping for an MMORPG. Those are my favorite ways of killing times. Obviously, I've got almost 5,000 hours in this. Made jokes about the card game. It's a rumor I have heard and read in various places. And, you know, that's not the sort of project that would require a large team. So that could be like a second or third game if it's being worked on. That is not the kind of thing like an MMORPG where you're talking a lot of employees working for a long time. And it may be something entirely different, the things they're working on. For instance, for a while, I was pretty convinced that ArenaNet had nabbed the Horizon MMORPG. But that's actually, fortunately, that is a mobile game that will be available on PC, but it looks and presumably plays like a mobile game. It looks dreadful. But there was a while I was convinced that was what they were working on. Because it made sense to me. An MMO with an immersive world, that's kind of what, you know, ArenaNet has a lot of experience with. Like Guild Wars 2, because if you're working, you don't have much time to play. Yeah, and you don't fall behind. You know, you may fall behind in expansion, so you don't have access to spears, land spears on all of your classes. Well, when you got the time and the gumption and the extra money, you can buy the expansion and get access to that. But that's not going to affect anything else you do with your playtime in the world. Yeah, and when you're college, you have time to grind away at everything. In my case, I'm retired. Care to guess what I do with my day? I get up, do my little breakfast lunch thing. I browse the internet. I play games. I eat dinner. I stream, play games, and play games. And computer games have been along with reading, have been my primary means of keeping myself amused for over 40 years. My first computer was an Apple II Plus in 1979 or 1980, if memory serves. That's a follow. Mr. Dan, my Danny, has followed. I have a spiel for you. Here it comes. Welcome to my humble little stream of misfunction, malfunction, dysfunction, and frequently complete and total unfunction. You're most welcome indeed, and thank you very, very much for the follow. Thank you, and good evening. Presumably, could be morning. I don't know, maybe even afternoon. It's afternoon somewhere in the world. And 07 to you as well. 9:50 p.m. in Brazil. I have another occasional viewer who is from Brazil. Mostly she's around when I'm playing Path of Exile. Miss Yukimo. She's delightful. So you have a lot to live up to. Because we only allow delightful Brazilians around here. Just kidding. You're welcome. Recently started playing Guild Wars 2 so far, enjoying it a lot. Great. For a long time, Guild Wars 2 players felt abandoned by the world. People would say, "Oh, what are you playing?" And you go, "I'm playing Guild Wars 2." And people would say, "Isn't that game dead?" And we go, "No, it's not dead. We just had another expansion. What's wrong with you people?" And for years, it was like that. And then the great WoW exodus occurred, and a lot of WoW players tried games they'd never tried before. A lot of them played FF14, but a lot of them tried Guild Wars 2. And by doing so, exposed their viewers, for the streamers, to Guild Wars 2. And a lot of times, the Guild Wars 2 streamers have been lavish in their praise. I'm going to use a profanity here. There's a streamer, he's now, a multi-game streamer, but he, for many years, Preach, was a WoW streamer and player. And he started playing Guild Wars 2. He started playing blind, where he wouldn't even look at chat and had no idea what he was doing and had to learn everything the hard way. And his objective was to start with nothing. Oh, you know Preach? Yeah, I really enjoy his stuff. And I watched all of his Guild Wars 2 streams on VOD. Because even when it was frustrating because he was doing something I knew was wrong, and I knew he wasn't looking at chat, and I knew chat was screaming at him what to do, I still loved it. He wanted to start from absolutely nothing and go all the way through the raids with people who had never played, or at least could keep their mouth shut. And anyway, after, I don't know, I think it was when he was in Heart of Thorns. He was talking about the game, and he said, if you enjoy MMO RPGs and you're not playing Guild Wars 2, here's the quote: "You're fucking yourself." Thank you, Preach. I love to quote that one because it is such a good game that I think if you're not at least willing to try it and you are an MMO player, then you are stooping yourself. I particularly liked it when he got in Heart of Thorns, that he basically wasn't having fun, and then he realized why. It was because he was trying to go through the content the way he always went through content in WoW. Tunnel vision, follow the quest lines, get it done, get to the end game. And he went back to just playing the way he'd been playing all the way through Guild Wars 2 up till then, which was to just play and do things and discover and just, enjoy the journey. And, for him to go from "I'm really enjoying it" to "I'm not enjoying it." Oh, here's why I'm not enjoying it. I'll just go back to doing what I was doing because it was fun. And that's the way I have always enjoyed Guild Wars 2, is to just do stuff. Log in, nobody's on. I'll go to Drizzlewood South and play the Drizzlewood South meta. Wish you'd started playing Guild Wars 2 before. You used to play WoW Vanilla. I started with WoW Beta as well. Kind of doing it right now. The discovery process is pretty fun. It is. If I wasn't before, it has turned me into very much an exploratory gamer, where I really enjoy that, even in games that have nothing to do with MMOs. Recently, there was a game that came out. It was on the Next Fest, a game called Aethus, Aethus, and it's an exploration, survival, crafting, narrative game. It has zero combat. It's my game of the year so far. Aethus, Aethus. I got about 40 hours out of it. It cost me $16. It is the best under $20 game I've ever played. So yeah, if I wasn't before, it turned me into a big enjoyer of exploratory gameplay. And I need to get on top of a rock to make sure I don't die again, because that happened with one of my characters the other day. I went to get coffee, and an imp flew from way out of the cave and went, "Oh, we have an unmoving lens. That looks delicious." I'll be right back. And that's completely understandable. And I would tell you not to overplay Guild Wars 2, but I'm not sure you can, because my experience is that I've never burned myself out. Yeah, I hit a couple of times. I hit the game really hard for a while, but the big advantage is if you do burn yourself out, a couple months off, you get the itch, boom, you're right back in it because you're not 2 expansions behind. I'll be right back. Okay. Coffee cup refilled. Lens back. AFK removed. Yeah, I've been a pretty consistent. Oh, look, it's a legendary Bloodstone Crazed Devourer that I want to have absolutely nothing to do with. No, 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 no. I said I want nothing to do with you. I meant that quite literally. Go away. Leave me alone. That guy has chunks of guys tougher than me in his stool. Oh, hey, you just appeared. Hi, how you doing? I guess I will not be getting any extra significant amount of bonus XP from him. If you're not aware of it, you get bonus XP when you kill monsters, mobs, whatever, including yellow mobs, by the way. You get extra bonus depending on how long they've been in the world without getting murdered. Another level. How nice. Yeah, I have always enjoyed leveling, doing part of my leveling in Fields of Ruin. It's a smaller map. It's the map I started on with this character this evening. It's a smaller map, and it's one a lot of players just basically never go to because it's kind of out of the way. It's a sort of dead-end map off of the Char area map, so a lot of people never even go there. And so a lot of times you can get, 200 XP for killing a monster and like 700 bonus XP. And so the leveling is very quick in an area where people don't go. Did we get more hero points? We did. Well, just a few more and we'll have all of our skills, and then we'll just start pouring points in to the spec lines.
My pains easy.
Griffins. Let's see. I kind of skip the griffins. Get this. I must have a griffin claw from those couple of griffins I killed. Where's the NPC? He's over there. Perhaps it's just me, but the icon for drop off your stuff here, it really looks like the arrow is pointing at a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. See? It's not a bucket. You're dropping them off at the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
Head back. Anyone coming with me? I'm gonna have a hard time alone.
Oh, he's going to have a hard time alone. Poor baby. Life is hard. Wear a helmet. There's a heart over here I didn't finish. Arrow over Reese's Peanut Butter. Yeah, I would too. Well, the old Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Apparently, they've gone the Hershey's route. Hershey's just recently announced that they're bringing chocolate back into their chocolate candies. Yeah. Apparently, they haven't been using cocoa butter for quite some time. They've been using, I don't know, lard.
You're going down.
Yeah, now with actual food. But what made it technically not actually really honest to goodness chocolate was they weren't using cocoa butter. They were using palm oil, I think. Because that's exactly the same thing if you're an executive. Heart complete. We are 56% done with the heart, or with the map, I should say. Probably will not be finishing that this evening. Now, if you want actual, real, delicious American chocolate, I suggest Scharfenberger. It's delicious. Ah, well, greasing one's palm is a classic way of getting things done in the world. Not a necessarily upright way of getting things done. Been a pretty good number of other players around this evening in this map. Not always the case in some of the sort of intermediate level maps, but usually you'll bump into a few or occasionally more than a few. Finish that heart. No, we have a POI back there. One of the great things about the mega server is you're very rarely in dead space for other players. There's almost always other players around. Burn, baby, burn. A dagger. That's all that was in there, was a dagger. It's so hard to get good loot these days. Oh, hi, guys. Do you mind if I drop a couple of traps? Set you on fire, you know, make you bleed. Don't worry, it'll be fine. Walk it off. Although I guess it's kind of hard to walk it off when you've just stepped on enormous spears. Yeah, probably. Oh. Oh, they all three just get up at the same time. That's no fair. I don't even get a res off. Jerks. I feel furious.
Safe from harm.
Cannon operator? Shouldn't you just call him a, I don't know, a cannoneer? Separatists, they need to work on their job descriptions. I bet their business cards are a mess. I'm surprised to find out they still use, people still use business cards. Once upon a time, and this is a true thing, I had business cards from an extraordinarily large company that I was working at. 178. Okay, that one goes away. Where my job was listed as systems necromancer. Can I get rid of that? Sure can. Been a while you don't see one. Yeah. Yeah, they're not common anymore. Apparently there are certain segments of business where they are still a definite thing. Rebuilding legacy systems, you mean I was working at the large company? Working with legacy systems in some cases. Well, let's see. We had VAX computers, if you know what those are. Silicon graphics machines. But we also had a Cray supercomputer, so yeah. It was kind of a mixed bag. I worked in IT. Everything from small companies to, technically, I think it's the biggest company in the world. I'm defeating Elder Dragon minions. These look like just little hatchlings, but they are branded, so they count. Now, in my professional existence, I did everything, except not much in the way of networking equipment, so routers and stuff, a little bit, but not much. But everything like phone systems, everything from punch downs to switch configurations and voicemail systems, every kind of systems administration and systems programming imaginable. Windows and Unix systems for the most part. Desktop support in a lot of the, pretty much everywhere I did desktop support, because none of the places I worked for were big enough to really have a separate desktop support. Because when I was working at the big company, fine. Here's my old name tag. When I was working there, I worked in basically IT for R&D. And the research and development community was about, I think, 3,500 people at the time. That seems too large to me, but I believe that was the number we had at the time listed. Hypervisors, Zen, KVM, and such. So groups as large as 35, I think was the biggest I ever worked for. And groups as small as 2, me and one other guy. Part complete. Professionally, I only supported a little bit of Ubuntu and then a good chunk of Red Hat as far as Linux was concerned. But just about every flavor imaginable of full-blown Unix. From Unicos on the Cray, AUX, Digital's Ultrix, BSD 4.3, IRIX on the SGI machines, Solaris on the Suns. You get the picture? Everything. We had a very, very large development environment with basically anything that anybody wanted to work on or needed to work on. So all kinds of Unix systems. No, what I am is I'm a very good generalist. So if you needed a Red Hat guy, you wouldn't hire me. But if you needed a guy who could do Red Hat and all these other things, then that's the kind of job that would get me hired. So I was definitely a generalist. Which made me very valuable in small companies, less valuable in larger companies. I have worked with and for some really cool people. Let's see. I worked with the one-time chief information officer of a little thing called the United States of America. She was just Megan Smith when I worked with her. Let's see. I worked with Pierre Omidyar, best known as the guy who created eBay. Let's see, the guy who created Android. Worked with him. Now, it wasn't, close working with these guys, but the company was only a couple hundred people, so yeah, everybody knew everybody. I believe I need to get myself changed into a murder hawk raven thing. Now, Silicon Valley in the late 80s and early 90s was a pretty amazing place to work. No, not really. I'm just... if I had to list my best skill that made me valuable in my job, it was I was very good at Google. At Googling up the answers to stuff that I didn't know the answers to. It sounds silly, but that used to be, anyway, an actual skill. Now, the closest you'd probably come would be an AI prompt engineer, a guy who can, twiddle the dials on an AI to give accurate and correct answers. Also, one thing that did make me very unusual for actually not just IT guys, but tech guys in general, is I'm pretty good with the people skills. You can probably tell by the way I'm bullshitting that I am comfortable talking to people, and that's not always the case. All right, I'm a bird. I'm a very big bird, but I think we all agree I'm a bird. Good at Google. Yeah, Google Foo. My Google Foo was very, very good. I could do things. There was a case where a guy was working, I think it was on an SGI program I had zero knowledge of. And he had a program that wasn't working. And he had spent a week working on it. And his boss had told him he needed to get back to work on, other stuff if he couldn't fix this. And so he handed it off to me, and it took me a day and a half to learn enough to find out that a couple of the settings in the configuration file were wrong. And once I corrected those, everything was fine. It wasn't magic, but it was certainly, it saved him an enormous amount of time. He was a case where he was too close to it. He couldn't see what the problem was. And that's not that uncommon. I never asked Jeeves, actually. He wouldn't return my calls. Okay? Now let us test your skills. What was the first significantly large search engine that would have popped up in people's businesses? Here's a hint. It was from digital. I'm sorry, time's up, pencils down. The answer is Alta Vista. Before Google, there was Alta Vista. Never heard of it? Yeah, basically Alta Vista was the first real search engine. Now you got to remember, when I started at the unnamed large company that is completely named after a fruit, we had internet connectivity. Actually, we had an A address, the top level addresses on the internet at the time. Well, still, one of the few corporations that had one. And so we had internet access, but the net, the web, had not appeared yet. It was mostly Usenet and FTP. I don't recall. Well, we never used InfoSeek, so I can't comment about that. I know I used freaking Alta Vista all the time. And it was, in essence, very, very similar to just Google-type functionality. For a while, I ran the FTP server at the aforementioned... Hero point to earn. At the aforementioned fruit company. Oh, that's right down here. Search results won't be crap. Yeah, Google has completely, sadly, enshittified their results because they no longer care about search. They care about the money they can get from it, and that means that their results are now terrible. I never used Gopher, but I certainly was aware of it. Hell, for a while, I was postmaster at the aforementioned fruit company. Now, that was a time when if you were the postmaster, people would complain to you as if you were in charge of the company. First Netscape version had a search button. Used a lot. Actually, first, that was the first browser. Shortly thereafter, we did get Explorer. And at that time, I actually preferred Explorer. The only time in my life I preferred Microsoft's browser to anything else on the market. Yeah, Mosaic did it too. One night, ESPN's website, so this would have been like in 95, maybe 96, ESPN's website would crash a PC or a Macintosh, and it would core dump a Unix machine using Netscape.
Not even a little. I'm happy to school anyway.
College in 94, so you got to learn about all of this. That was when I got laid off by the aforementioned fruit company. I was there from 87 to 94. And then in 95, I started work at General Magic, which is where the long list of cool people I worked with, most of them is where I ran into them, worked with them. I was between the two Steve Jobs eras. Jobs was gone by the time I got there, and I was gone by the time he came back. I was there in the Scully era. No, they were never selling PC clones. I arrived shortly after the, I believe, yeah, the SEs were released and the Mac 2. And was around still for the PCs they did with the, I think, PowerPC, the Motorola 88,000 line. Now keep in mind, it's been a long time, so I may be getting my numbers wrong. Back then, a lot of companies in Silicon Valley had more in common with a fraternity than they did a corporation. And if that sounds a little weird, it probably should. Every Friday, there was a beer bash where the company provided the beer. A concept which blows a lot of people's minds. I have a new coat. I'm going to wear it. And we have to re-dye all of our stuff now. 100 messages today. Thank you guys very, very much. When I have an active chat, I am an active chatter in response. I feel like I'm a better streamer and a more involved streamer when I have an active chat. And I have you guys to thank for that. Thank you guys very much. Year 2, Steve Jobs came back. There was one of the first things he did was stop the clones. He stopped the Macintosh clones out there. I'm not sure. Who provided the bash? That was corporate. That was the company. Beer bash every Friday. Now, what's really surprising about that isn't that they had it, although that's pretty goddamn surprising to most people. It's how much work got done. People you couldn't get a hold of all week, you knew you'd be able to find them at the beer bash. It wasn't intended that way, but that ended up being the case. Well, it was pretty common in Silicon Valley at that time. Another thing, for 5 years at the company, you got a 6-week sabbatical. That wasn't that unusual at the company. They don't do that anymore in Silicon Valley, not that I'm aware of. I had an enormous amount of fun while also doing an enormous amount of work while I was there. And in that way also, it was like the tail end of the cowboy days in Silicon Valley, where everyone was expected to work hard and play hard. And to a large degree, we did. It was a different time. A lot of times people will say it was a different time as a reason to excuse some bad behavior, and I assume some bad behavior did occur, but generally not. You know, you would expect that you'd have drunken driving accidents and whatnot, but apparently that was never a problem. We were told if we had too much at, you know, at one of the company soirees, call a cab. Expense it when you get back to work. Sort of expected everyone to behave like behave like relatively well-behaved adults. And I'm sure there were abuses. It's corporate America. I'm positive there were abuses. Infiltrate. Oh, this is in the wrong. Over there. Over there. Over there. Over here. But a lot of the management had a lot of leeway. So it wasn't unusual for us, for instance, for our weekly meetings, to have the weekly meeting at the local watering hole and occasionally close the place down. You know, 2 o'clock meeting and we'll close the place down at 2 a.m. Now, that wasn't regularly happening. One unheard of. And the manager writing it all off as an expense. Oh, acting like an adult? Depends. You can act like an adult and still have an awful lot of fun. You just have to control your baser instincts to some degree. Oh, I apparently aggravated them all? Come on, guys. I dropped a couple traps so you can come over here. It'll be nice. You'll be fine. I promise. Come on. Come on, guys. Lancelot, come back here. There we go. Lancelot? Why are you attacking that poor thing that's on the other side of the room? Pets, am I right? I'll open the door. Hi, guys. What are you guys doing in here? Science? I think they were doing science, but they were doing bad science. %. Oh my God. All right. We're going to finish it off. We are going to finish this map if it's the last thing I do. And it will be the last thing I do for the stream. Weird Science. I always preferred Real Genius, I think was the name of the movie. Val Kilmer. I'm not presently working on a legendary, and I would need. I could almost make one with the stuff I've got if I had another Gift of Battle. Sadly, I continue to hold out hope. It won't happen, Lens. Stop. That ArenaNet will allow players to exchange a Gift of Battle along with some money for a Gift of Exploration. Just, you know, player to player deal. A little bit of gold thrown in because the Gift of Battle is out there in larger numbers. That won't be happening, but I can hope. Oh, I've got the gift of exploration. I've got 4 of those left over. I've made 2 legendary weapons. I've made 3 legendary light armor pieces. I have 6 runes, 2 sigils, the relic, and I think that's it. Flock to me. Yes, I know. I've heard 4 hours or so seems to be the common number I see quoted. And part of it is my stubborn, which is a not insignificant part of my entire existence, by the way. That you may be familiar with from 7-year-olds. I'm not going to do it and you can't make me. I'm not particularly proud of that, although why anyone would be proud of it, I have no idea. But I have to acknowledge it is part of my makeup. Is my essential contrarianism. Trading a gift of exploration for a gift of battle, please. Well, that's the thing is the people who have bajillions of gifts of battle would love to be able to trade for an exploration. And some of us, at least with exploration, would love to be able to trade for a gift of battle. Now, I think if there would have to be a monetary inducement to go with it for it to be perceived as a balanced exchange, just from supply and demand purposes. I would be fine without the gold supplement. I just don't think there's any realistic way for them to implement it. They would have to create a special UI and everything for it. It just would be a lot of work. But yet, I will continue to say that would solve all of my problems. In fact, that would solve world hunger, the Middle East issues, and everything else that's wrong in the world would be fixed. So, please? Fine. Gift of battle it'll be. I don't want the gun. I want to talk to Woad. Hey, Woad. Buy my useless crap. Thank you. All right, where are we at? We got 1 more heart to go, I think. Looks like it's in that direction along with a waypoint. Branded. Don't suppose that attack is ongoing, is it? The attack is ongoing? That can make the branded thing go really fast. Don't kill him too quick. Don't kill him too quick. I'm here. Let me get wax. Let me get my 40 wax. Let me do my Lizzie Borden impersonation. That's an old guy reference. Lizzie Borden took her axe and gave her father 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her mother 41. So close to a bolt. Yep, I've got a bolt and a twilight. In retrospect, I kind of wish I'd gone with the Club Yarny instead of the bolt. Not that I regret the bolt. Bolt's cool. When this event is going on. It's just so much faster to complete the heart, as you can see. I mean, this is not one of those hearts that's terrible, but it's really fast if the event is ongoing. And it's always nice to double dip. Not that I'm a dip, okay? Definitely not. He's a dip. Don't let him fool you. Don't believe his lies. What do we got left? We've got all the hearts. We are missing one waypoint, and that's it. We're missing a waypoint. Where's the waypoint? There it is. It's close by. Okay. The first 3 keys were disappointing. Okay. Can we get another key? Granted, getting 2 keys in 2 maps, that's a big ask. Gimme. To whoever earlier said streamer client, streamer shakes fist. Gonna cry. He's not gonna cry. He's gonna get even. He's gonna get even. Here's how he's gonna get even. Yeah. Oh yeah. He's going to browse the Black Lion store thing. Black Lion, because he's got a bunch of Black Lion statuettes. So he's going to browse the statuette market. And then he's going to treat himself to something nice. Something pretty. Outfits? No. These are the old, I believe, the old city clothes, town clothes they were called. I mean, mail carriers, finishers. I don't PvP, and I don't get that much mail. Tempting, but the amount of time you have to have these for them to sort of pay off is quite large. Classic cosmetics. Now, the unlocks are fun, but they are random, so you can get stopped. Vintage exclusives. Now we're talking. These are not that expensive, and some of these are spectacularly good skins. My fallback for how good the skins can be here, I can find it. Maybe it doesn't show up because I already have it. Is the Phoenix feather skin. It's been my classic example of 25 of the best Black Lion statuettes you can spend. Maybe it's not available anymore? Well, we'll start at the most expensive. Now, I'm unlikely to want to get any of these until they become less expensive. Now, there are exceptions. There are some that I want so badly I'm willing to pay the premium to get them a couple months early. Ah, the Aragorn cloak. Let's see. Not my vibe. The Deathly Shoulder skins. Yeah, I mean, I could certainly see those on, like, Necros, obviously. Avian and Bulls. Did I get the Fate Unraveling? I guess I didn't. I did want that one. No, that's not the one I wanted. The one I wanted, I think I did get, which is the one that is sort of animated like the golem you fight in the Asura tutorial. I have the Ghost with the most, baby. I have the rest of the Seven Reapers set, but I just don't particularly care for the helm. I like the rest of it. Not quite there either. I feel the need to spend. The Elemental Sword. I didn't get that one yet. It's not bad. There were unlocks in here? I thought there were unlocks. You not have unlocks? Am I going crazy? Don't answer that. Just don't answer that. Unlocks. I'm going to have 15, and I'm going to have a guaranteed unlock. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with what a guaranteed unlock can get you, there are only a few things in here I don't have. Just a few. Now, I normally rate them from 0 to 10 on how cool they are to me. I may give them a secondary rating as to how well executed I think they are. Even if they're not for me, they can still score well there. So, I believe this is all armor and weapon skins that are not legendary. May also not include anything that is particularly new. Outfits, dyes, gliders, minis, finishers, mail carriers. And here we go. This is my consolation prize to me. It is the Dark Asuran Dagger. I'm not familiar with that. That is pretty nice. The Dark Asuran set, huh? I like that. I'm going to give that a solid 7. And in the right hand, say I have a Dagger Thief. Maybe an Asuran Dagger Thief. Wielding 2 of those. That's a 7.5, maybe an 8. That's a good skin. Very happy with that one. Don't have a lot of great dagger skins. That one has a slightly narrow focus, but it's really nice for what it is. I'm going to call it an evening here. I want to thank you all for hanging out. Well, I may be back in an hour and 10 minutes with the raid, but probably will not be streaming it, but you will still be able to hear the dulcet tones of my voice if you are to tune in to any of the people who will be streaming it. If you check on Twitch, you'll probably see anywhere from like 4 to 6 people streaming together. Amongst them will be such noteworthies as Malcolmist TV, Engelbert Meow, Praying Mantid, possibly Jukebox this evening, Amavera, I believe we have. I don't think we have Gwenakami tonight, but maybe we do. I'm not sure who else is involved. There'll be 10 of us. There'll be at least 9 cool people and me. So it's worth watching, even if I'm not streaming it. It causes me pain to say that, but I'm not the be-all and end-all of Guild Wars 2 streaming. Okay. I should be back tomorrow at the usual time, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, middle of the night in Europe, morning in Asia, Australia, and New Zealand, with more of the same old madness. Probably tomorrow, another event in Marvel Heroes for Friday. It is, I believe, in the Hightown Patrol, where there'll be a shot at getting drops of costumes, alternate costumes for characters, which would be cool, plus a whole bunch of loot. And I'm really enjoying and glad that the game is back. If you never played it, think Diablo or Diablo 2, but superheroes instead. Game died like 10 or 12 years ago, and they reverse engineered the server code, and it's running again, and it's awesome. If you want to check it out, you can check in Twitch. There are a number of people who will be streaming it. It's Marvel Heroes or Marvel Heroes Omega, and if you wanted to play yourself, just go to mhtahiti.com, Marvel Heroes Tahiti. Tahiti, it's a wonderful place, magical. And you can check it out for yourself. They're not paying me for this shill. I shill for free around here. I will be back tomorrow. Hopefully you will see me soon. If not, I bear no grudge against you, and I hope you have an awesome weekend coming up after you survive your Friday, because you deserve it. Again, thank